jacket, huh?
What up with the hair?
What in my
You look totally different.
Oh, this photo. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's me.
Terry Washington there.
That's a high compliment. Thank you. That's
Well, your skin is beautiful.
oh, thank you. It's a little older picture of me. That was right around the time I started my business. And I haven't had a photo shoot in a while, so I'm past due for a new photo shoot to keep my image going.
I beat you because the one that I sent you was from when I was in Vegas, which was 15, 20-ish years.
Uh-huh. Oh, wait a minute. So was that one of those photos that you get when you're attending a conference and they say, "Hey, let us take a photo of you"?
The PR people wanted to use me for a bunch of people, and because of the international background and blah blah blah, and we were in Vegas and it was an opening and all of that, and so they sent me out to get headshots, and that's what they came back with, and I've just used it ever since. I hate pictures of myself, so I just figured I'd just keep that one.
You know what, Brian? I used to be the same way until I had to make it fun. So the photo that you admire is one of two different photo shoots that I've done professionally when I started my business. There was two of them that I did. And that one, I just, worked my way through it. By the time I got done with that one, the next one I did that was specifically for my company, I said, play music, just play the music loud and play the music that I like, and I'll dance around and loosen up, loosey-goosey, loosey-goosey. So it was either that or have some Hennessy, and then, we don't want that. Well, I made fun of it and made the best of the whole photo shoot. And now I don't even worry about it so much. And it's also important that you're comfortable with the photographer too, and their vision for you.
Yeah, I used to be a photographer in high school and in college.
Nice.
Not people. I never shot people. So yeah, I mean, it's really comfortable. When I would shoot trees and landscapes, they would be really pissed off if I wasn't nice to it.
So you have a very intriguing background. Your profession is very broad, but it's definitely focused on your industry. One of the things I appreciate about you, Brian, is that you don't sway too far from your expertise area. I give kudos to people that are trying to expand their brand and make themselves relevant and trying to increase their revenue. But what do irritate me sometimes is them tapping into a field that they are not the expert in and don't specialize in, and it makes it difficult for those that are the experts in their field. But you, as well as your boss, the company you work for, you guys are really, really diverse in your field of expertise where you focus at, and you kind of stay within there because there's so much to do within that field alone as it is for other people. What's great about you, before I let you speak, is you are very experienced from the lowest toll pole to the highest toll pole. And what a lot of people don't understand is those that you consider on the lower toll pole are actually the key. He is central to the operation of a lot of companies, or most companies in that fact. So tell me a little bit about your background and how you've gotten to where you're at and why.
A lot of luck. No, I mean, you brought up some really cool points, and Grace, I appreciate that. So, let me kind of digress.
You're my BFF.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for you to come out to the West Coast, the warm coast.
Me too.
Yeah, so it's interesting. As you brought up that we are focused and we don't stray too much outside of that. With the whole pandemic, the owner and I got on a conference call and said, hey, there's a lot of opportunities in other industries for headhunting,
Mm-hmm.
hospitality, which it literally in 72 hours went away.
Wow.
And so do we want to look at something different? We all came to the same conclusion that no, we are experts at what we do. We want to stay in our lane. And for our lane, it's actually a superhighway. Right now I'm looking at potential searches for for 2 different chefs, one Chinese, one French in one country in the Middle East. And we just picked up another search for a general manager, a high level general manager for another country in the Middle East.
Wow.
Plus, I'm working on a food and beverage manager in Texas, and hopefully in Philadelphia I'll be working on one as well. So we're really diverse. So in that lane of hospitality, I've got all different kinds of clients, and that's really what we are. So we didn't want to venture too far out of and I'm not going to call it a lane anyway,
right.
our super highway, because within that there's so many layers and levels, and and that's just what we love doing. And we all come out of the industry, and that's one of the things that sets us apart. Everybody from the owner to everybody who works in the offices,
right.
Myself, we all come out of the industry. So I started as a bartender, actually as a bar back, when I was going to school in Israel, and I needed a job. I ran out of money. I needed a job, and I was going to law school at the time, and I ended up getting a part-time job that turned into a full-time job. They just opened the Hyatt Regency in Jerusalem.
Wow.
And I lied my way through the interview to get the job, and it was quite funny. The woman interviewing me, who I'm still friends with to this day, said, "If you're going to tell me this, I know you need this job, and you're not gonna do one on me. So I'm going to give you a chance in a very short leash." And that's how I ended up in this industry. And that was 34 years ago.
Wow.
I've worked my way up. I've worked my way country to country. I was very lucky. I landed with Hyatt International for many, many years in my career, and I worked all over the world. I did private hotels in Bermuda. I've done openings of hotels. Then I morphed into freestanding restaurants, which I also loved, and I understand very well.
Right.
Very different dynamics than a hotel. Within hotels, I've done 5-star, 5-diamond luxury, elite boutique hotels to 1,400 room major convention properties.
Awesome.
And everything in between. And then I really found my true love, which was in private clubs. I started in 1999 as the food and beverage director at the Tokyo American Club, which is in Japan. And I was with them for a few years and did another trip around the world, and then ended up back there again about 10 years ago for another 6-year stint. I've worked with Tokyo Disney. I've been just on very interesting projects. I was always the guy, especially in Hyatt, that I would raise my hand when they would say, "Does anyone want to go to?" And I'd have my hand up before I'd even know where I was going, which led to some really interesting projects that I worked on. I think I've got about a dozen hotel and restaurant openings under my belt.
Wow.
All of this, I'm telling you this because all this makes a difference in what I do now. And I never in a million years thought I'd ever be an executive recruiter or a headhunter, as we're called. But it was how I look at it now. It was this 30 plus years of operational experience all over the world with different languages and different cultures that have really set me up for doing what I'm doing now, and I love it. The ability to change people's lives is just incredible. To help them find jobs, especially with what's going on right now, it's even more challenging. But I think the emotional reward is a lot stronger now than it's ever been. To find something now for somebody in this kind of environment is really
yes,
something special. And and that's what we're keep on keeping on, and we're marching through this as best as we can.
you haven't realized it yourself, but you've become my lifesaver. Although we haven't completed the project or started the project yet, I was in the process of hunting for a hunter.
That's me. I'm the
A
hunter.
headhunter. I was hunting for a headhunter right before this coronavirus took place for us. And you were one of many people that I had interviewed to help us for our needs because, you know, I own several businesses and I needed an executive level director title for two of my businesses, one for the new private club that we've launched. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we've launched that club right in the beginning of the year, right before this coronavirus took effect. So you're going to help us with a club manager and also with a sales director for my event management company to handle my sales team for me and build that sales team up. And the approach from you and the sincerity from you, as well as the confident knowledge you shared with me and the how to, what I can expect from you was superb. It's all about trust. You know how they always say cliche stuff. People do business with people that they like, or people do business with people that they know. And you won me over with both of those.
Well,
Someone
thank you.
I like and someone that I have grown to know, because you stayed in touch with me, and I had to put a stop on the search with the headhunters when the corona broke out, because now I had to pivot and figure out, what do I do? How are they're planning, they meaning the government, are planning to help us out. You know, how does my business or businesses fit into that equation of their solutions, and how do I hold on to my team, and how do I navigate myself through the plans that I had for 2020, because I was just getting started with my plans for 2020 with my event management company. And you kept calling me, not too much, but enough to let me know, hey, Gracie, I'm checking in on you. How are you doing? And I was like, okay, done. You're the guy. You're the one for me.
It's really funny, Gracie. I've spent this last 2.5, almost 3 months doing nothing but working with candidates on their resumes, on their LinkedIn profiles, how to step it up a little bit.
Nice.
And on the same time, talking to clients, but in a, what I believe in is, you know, in the basis that because I'm friends with them, or because I really enjoy talking to them on the phone.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. I say this to clients. I say this especially to candidates. Especially candidates, the most difficult phone call to make is a candidate that didn't get a job, especially at this level. It is by far the most difficult phone call to make. And I always say, I'm not in the job placement business. That's not my business. There's a bunch of headhunters out there that's what they do. They're in the job placement business.
Right.
It's about relationships for me. Yeah, I mean, and most of the searches that I do, the candidate that ends up getting the job is somebody that I may have already presented to 1 or 2 or 3 other clients, but just for whatever reason, it never came to fruition.
Right.
It just wasn't their time. And then, you know, when I go back to them for something that ends up being a perfect match is great. Likewise, the same thing with clients. It's not about, you know, it's not about making a placement. It's about a relationship, and I try and foster relationships with all of my clients. And I look, at the end of the day, it does, you know, bear fruit. It does bear more searches, but that's not the reason why I do it. I think one is a product of the other. And you know, when you have, if you've got, and I've learned this from my boss, you know, who gave me a chance, because I'd never been a recruiter before, ever. And he took a chance on me and said, look, I can teach you the nuts and bolts of this. I can't teach you sincerity. I cannot teach you tenacity. And I was his candidate for 20 some odd years.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up getting into recruiting, is when I came back from Tokyo to the States. He said, look, I I'd love to have you. I know you don't know anything about it. I can teach you all that. And, I love what I do now. And that's, part of that is that sincerity, I think, and that
Wow.
really wanting to connect on a human to human basis. And
Right.
people ask me, do I miss being in a private club? Do I miss walking the lobby and talking to people? And I no, I really don't, because I still do that. It's just all over a phone and not person to person.
Right.
But I still do that every day. In fact, I probably talk to more people now than I did when I was sitting in an office running one of the largest private clubs in Asia. So
You know what, Brian? I say the same thing about third-party companies like mine for events. Yes, you may have an in-house team, and yes, they may be extremely talented and valuable to your company, but they are still limited. And it's because they're not traveling and engaging with as many resources as your third-party resources are. So you're in a great situation because you have so much more to offer to your clients because of that, instead of it on so many levels. And again, I keep emphasizing the beauty of you as being a headhunter. You're not just someone with an HR background or whatever it is that's required for you to be a recruiter, so to speak. You understand the jobs and the positions that your clients are looking to fulfill, as well as the jobs and positions that your candidates are potentially going to be working. So you're not just trying to sell them anything, you're looking out for the best interest on both ends.
Correct. I mean, and one of the things, Grace, is we guarantee all of our placements. We guarantee everybody for up to a year. And that's, we don't want to ruin anybody's career. The last thing I want to do is have a candidate take a wrong job. In fact, I've talked candidates out of taking a job because I clearly knew it was not going to be for them. Right. Likewise, I wouldn't want a client to have to, do a search again because it wasn't a perfect match. I mean, yes, ultimately it's the client that's hiring the candidate, not me. I'm the kind of the go-between. But that's not our philosophy. We want to make sure that that all the stars in the moon kind of align.
Yeah.
And because of that, we don't really ever have to use that 1 year guarantee. Right?
And you know what? That's the beauty of it, because coming from a business owner perspective, time is money and money is time. Yeah. And it's very time consuming and a huge distraction for your day-to-day operation of the company to have to figure out your benchmark for new positions or create positions or try to fill these positions and benchmark it and then try to figure out how to bring them in. You got to market, you have to recruit, then you have to go through a rigorous interview process. Then there's the onboarding process. And then there's the months of training as a new hire before they're comfortable with the brand and the culture of the company before they actually truly shine. And to find out in anywhere in that chain that process is broken because it ended up being discovered that is not a good fit between the two, the company and the employee, that means you got to do it all over again. And it's expensive because from an entrepreneur perspective, you're paying for the tools and the systems and everything that they need to do their job, and then they don't work out. So the quality behind the work that you guys do is absolutely superb. I want to go back. Let me back up a little bit.
Absolutely.
You mentioned that you were trying to fill, you got new contracts to fill 2 positions for some chefs. And I love me some chefs because I love me some food. You can't tell with this shirt, but woo, I got wings. I'm working on it though. So I want clarification for those that are listening. You said you're looking for 2 chefs, 1 French and 1 Chinese, you said, right?
Correct.
Specify, what do you mean by that? Are you looking for them to be of that culture, or are you looking for them to have the skill sets for a restaurant within that area? And that
it looks like we just picked up a new contract for a brand new hotel opening in one of the Gulf countries in the Middle East. Very progressive, modern country. This is going to be one of the top hotels in the country. It's located in the capital city. And so they've got several different concepts going on in the hotel. Two of them they want our help with. One of them is finding a French brasserie chef, which is so not necessarily a French chef, but a chef who knows traditional and non-traditional French techniques and French cooking.
Yeah.
The same thing on the Chinese. I'm not necessarily looking for somebody
that's Asian.
Yes, I'm looking for somebody who knows Chinese cooking. And it's interesting, they've come to an American company and not a European company because they really find value in American chefs. And American chefs right now are making a huge mark on the world, more so I think than European chefs. Because of the flexibility, because of the understanding of people, because it has gone from it will always be technical, but of a less rigorous, culinary program to a more free-flowing and freestyle. And that's American chefs. American chefs, the ingenuity of American chefs, no matter if they're cooking Chinese food or Japanese or, I've been lucky and I've worked with, you name the concept of a restaurant, I've worked in that concept. So I've worked with different chefs. I'll tell you, Gracie, the best French food I've ever had in my life, and this is after spending many, many, many months in Paris, is in Japan.
Really?
Best Italian food, and I've spent many, many, many months in Italy. Best Italian food I've ever had has been in Tokyo.
Get out of here. Until you come to my house, I'm going to have to cook for you, because I cook authentic Italian cuisine. My husband's Italian. So I cook some mean gravy and a couple of other things, and it's all fresh ingredients. I'm not a chef by any shot, but I know how to cook some wholesome food, whether it's soul food or Italian.
Unfortunately, I'm not looking for an Italian chef, but yeah. So I'm looking for those 2 chefs, and it's going to be a great opportunity for the right person, and there'll be a lot of media behind it as well. So it'll be something really cool. And those are the
awesome.
I love working on.
Let me tell you something. The other thing, you said a lot of great things about our American chefs. Another thing that I've noticed, because especially in this industry, in the event planning industry, we have to engage with chefs sometimes, or help our clients select the right meals for their events. And one of the things we specialize in is pairing up the meals for our clients. I like to have full control over what the menu look like and make the recommendations to the client. And believe it or not, chefs really enjoy that. Having someone who can understand the value and the quality of a menu and their food, instead of having someone, which is ideally the client, who's not sure about what their needs are or what they want and stuff. So we design the menu with the chef of a venue, or if we're going to hire someone that's going to cater it, and then we present it to the client with taking in consideration dietary needs and all that kind of stuff. I want to add to some of the great things that you've said about our American chefs. I've noticed that so many of them, the reason why a lot of these international clients, if I will, of yours are seeking talent here, is because a lot of these chefs are investing in themselves. I've noticed that a lot of them are traveling and doing their research for these specialties, cuisines, and really, really learning the core of it authentically from their homelands. They're traveling around the world and they're staying there for months at a time and learning all the different products and ingredients that they're able to use, and learning how to fully cook it. If they don't already know how to cook those type of theme meals or cultural meals, they're learning it or enhancing it. And that's a true investment of their skill sets and stuff. So I'm noticed that a whole lot, and I give them kudos for that.
We see that as well, Gracie. I see that in a lot of food and beverage, in general in food and beverage, but I see a lot of F&B directors that will have taken a year off just to travel.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when I talk to a client, it's so easy when they say, well, hang on, there's this 1 year gap in their resume that it doesn't have any. I said, well, let me tell you what this candidate was doing. They were in this region of the world. They were in that region of the world. They took a part-time job being a waiter here because they really wanted to understand what it is to work in this culture. Because, wow. And that's one of the things I absolutely love. And I was very lucky that I was able to live and work all over the world is from a cultural standpoint.
Right.
Taking an American chef out of New York and putting them into a Gulf country in the Middle East, it doesn't work like it does in New York. And I learned that on my first international experience when I opened the Park Hyatt Tokyo 27 years ago now. And I was having a really bad day. I went into the general manager and he said, look out the window. And he said, what do you see? And I said, well, I see Mount Fuji. He said, well, you don't see the Golden Gate Bridge and you don't see the Statue of Liberty. You're not in America anymore. And it doesn't work like in America. Mm-hmm. And then I found out I was only one of 10 Americans that worked for Hyatt International, because Hyatt International flat out did not hire Americans at that time, because it was more difficult to take an American and put them in Tokyo for 1 year and then move them, to the Middle East another year and then move them to Lima, Peru. Because it doesn't work in Lima like it does in Jerusalem, like it does in Osaka. And so I was I got a whole separate education just working internationally.
Wow. Oop. Did I lose you?
No, I hope not.
Okay, good. All right. I thought I lost the audio for a second. Yeah, we can talk forever, you and I.
Yeah, we have.
No.
I
told you you're my BFF now.
I like the idea of coming out there for an hotel. I'll tell you what, we'll have cocktails on the West Coast and we'll have dinner at your place on the East Coast.
Awesome. We'll grill. So what we'll do is we'll invite you over for a couple of days, couple of nights. And one night I'll cook a home meal, whatever, soul food, Italian, your choice. And then the second night, we'll do something on the grill, and I'm going to put you to work and help me.
And I cook, yeah.
Well, we both cook.
And that's the other reason I love doing chef searches. I worked back of the house for many years, and I am a frustrated chef, and I have my own little catering. My side hustle is a catering company. So
really,
you could put me through the wraps. I hold my own in the kitchen.
Wow, I didn't know that about you. That's pretty good. Well, you know what? I just realized our time is winding up.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, and for the sake of the size of the video, I have to keep it within a certain time frame. But I do have some fun fact questions I want to ask you. Okay. So I got to see, which one am I going to ask you? What kind of, do you watch much TV or movies?
I watch TV.
Oh, okay. So what kind of TV shows do you watch?
Okay. I just watched Top Chef last night, which I love.
Of course.
I'm watching This America right now, which is fantastic.
Which one is it?
This is America.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
This is America.
Oh, This is America. Okay.
Which I love. And then I love spy, mystery, espionage, CIA. So I watch The Blacklist. I like shows like that. Homeland.
Oh, The Blacklist. Homeland, The Blacklist. I can relate to you on those. I binge watched believe it or not, I do work and hustle. I got 3 companies. I work a lot, and my downtime is late at night. I stay up until midnight binge watching shows, and I'll do it within 2 hours. And I like to skip through all the commercials and everything like that. And oh my goodness, I remember when the Blacklist first came out. I was like, ugh. And
Yeah.
it was right after he finished. What's the main character's name again?
Uh,
I can't think of it right now. This is sad.
He was one of the Brat Pack. He was from Pretty in Pink, which is probably.
He was you're going way back. Right before, right before the Blacklist, he had just finished up a TV series that was something about law. And I can't remember that show either. What, my goodness, this is driving me crazy.
I got it for you, James Spader.
Yes. Now, what was the show, the TV show where he was a big time attorney at a big time firm that he did right before the Blacklist?
Yeah. Yes, I don't remember, and I really like his stuff.
He's a superb actor. Love him. But when he came out with the Blacklist right after they wrapped up his season or his series for the other show, I was like, oh God, no, he can't be no action-packed type of guy. I don't see him that way. So I never watched it for years until this year. And I binge watched that show like crazy. I was addicted to it. My husband was like, he says, when are you coming to bed? You never come to bed. He says, by the time you come to bed, it's time for me to get up and go. And I was like, are you kidding me? I love the Blacklist. And then because of the Blacklist, I was able to discipline myself to take a lunch hour because I will work right through the day otherwise, so that I can sit down, eat, and watch the Blacklist at lunchtime for 1 hour.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I love shows like that. I'm with Scandal. I was a huge Scandal. I like Shonda Rhimes anyway. I love her stuff.
Oh, she's fantastic. She's a superb writer. The girl is blessed, or the woman.
On that one off the air, but no, yeah. So I'm more of that. I'm more of TV shows than movies.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, that's the fun fact for everyone to know about you on a personal level. And you know what, Brian, I would love to have you come back because there's so much more that we can talk about dealing with your industry, because we talked a whole lot about chefs and the hospitality aspect of things. I want to take a deeper dive on private clubs with you.
I would love that. And Gracie, thank you. I can't wait for the event.
Yes. Speaking of which, guys, we have Brian as one of our workshop presenters on June 3rd for our virtual conference. We have 3 keynote speakers, 6 presenters. Brian is one, I'm one of them, and there's 4 other fabulous presenters that we're gonna have. So come to the conference, join in on it. And if you missed June 3rd, there's plenty more coming afterwards. I'm gonna have you host your own virtual event as a courtesy from me to you.
Gracie, thank you for everything. I really appreciate the relationship.
Take care. Sit tight, okay?